Hello, welcome to Time to Talk. I'm Argie Holliman, and today is Wednesday, January 10th, 2018. It's the first time that I'm saying that it's 2018 on Time to Talk, and so we're very proud that we can do that and blessed as well. And today, just sitting on the set with me, supporting me, one of my crew members, Pinda Childry. Pinda, it's good to have you on Time to Talk. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you too.
Thank you, thank you. And I told Pinda that we were going to kind of do a free-for-all today and let people know the history of Time to Talk and who I am as well, because people can watch, but they may not always know the background, you know, of the show, or maybe even my background as well. And I was like, Pinda, come sit with me at least and just support me. And she was like, okay, I'll do that, but don't pull me in, because I have a way of doing that. And Pinda knows that.
Yes,
so
she does.
I said, Pinda, I'm going to be good. I'm not going to pull you in. I just need you to sit with me so I can talk to you, you know, as I'm talking to our guests. You know, we have some very loyal viewers and go way, way back to the 80s, actually.
38 years.
Yes. And so let people kind of know the history of Time to Talk and my journey through GRTV, and also how people can be a part of Time to Talk, and how they also can come on the show as well. Because a lot of times people look at TV and think, wow, how can I get on television? What can I do? I would love to do a show. And people have so many great ideas.
Yes, they do. I've been talking to people as well.
Exactly. And I appreciate you and all of our crew. You've been with Time to Talk for 3 years now. And from time, I'd see you in the community almost everywhere. And we would talk about, yes, sometimes, you know, I want to work on your show and I want to learn more about television production. That's what you would say to me. And I was like, sure, yeah. You know, anybody that tells me they want to come on TV or work for Time to Talk, watch out, I'm getting your number. I'm getting your number.
And she did.
Yes, I got your number, and we
Yes.
were talking about it, and I was like, okay, I'm ready for you to come on Time to Talk as a crew member. Are you ready? You were like, yeah. And you've been here ever since, and been very supportive. You take the pictures when our guests come. You know, it's good to have pictures to put on Facebook now and everything. At one time, we used to have a professional photographer, and not that you're not professional, because you take some really good pictures. I don't know where you learned that, but you take some really good pictures. But there was this professional photographer. His name was Lawrence, and I believe it was Hibble, Hibeo, and he would offer classes in how to use your digital camera, and so that you would be better at it. And I was like, that's so interesting, you know, because with my cameras, everything is upside down. You know, if you want some good pictures of feet, I can give you some good, I can give you some good pictures of feet. But I asked him, I said, would you come every show and take pictures of our show? So we would have that. And he was like, yeah, sure. You know, so he was a big part of our crew in the sense of, you know, taking pictures, making sure that we have pictures and pictures of our guests, because we've had so many guests over 30 years, and it's good to just look back and look at their pictures and look at the crew pictures and everything like that.
Oh, like where are they now? And where is he now?
And where is he now? I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good question. But I would like to do a Where Are They Now show. We had the mayor on before, not the current mayor, but in the past police chief. We had a program that we called GR Teen Summit. And what that was we brought kids from area schools in grades 9 through 12. We taught them, I want to say for about 3 months, on how to use the camera, how to edit, how to interview, you know, how to do lighting at that time. Now, the crew says nobody messes with the lights.
Oh, wow. I was going to say it would be interesting to get that going again.
Wouldn't it?
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. And the kids who went through that, it was something that I organized, and the kids who went through that, their grades levels got higher and higher, you know. And then I think I'm pretty sure, a couple of them went into professional television, and that was really interesting. So how I started in broadcasting, period, was I started in radio. Radio was my first love. I started at WEHB.
I remember that radio station. Not that I'm that old, but I remember.
Right. And it was at 1514 Wealthy, and it was above a barber shop at that time. It was right at the corner of Wealthy and Lake Drive. The building is still there. The station isn't there. But my mother, the late great Maddie Holliman, whatever I would tell her I wanted to do, she would always get behind it and do whatever she could to make it happen. So I was like, yeah, you know, I like radio. And there was this correspondence school that was called Columbia School of Broadcasting.
Oh.
And
here in Grand Rapids?
It was nationwide. It was actually based out of New York. But you know, you could take the courses anywhere, and then you send in your homework, which was tapes. You know, you do these tapes, you do these lessons, and send in send in your homework by doing that. And then so my mother said, I know somebody who's in radio. His name is Darryl Kay, and any radio people out here
that name.
know Darryl Kay, the late great Darryl Kay. She was like, I know Darryl Kay, and he could help you with that, you know, Darryl Kay, and I'll think of his name in a minute, but anyway, definitely Darryl Kay. And so she was like, Darryl Kay, come to lunch, talk to my daughter, you know, tell her about radio. So he's telling me about radio, telling me about WHB, and I was like, yeah, I want to do that. And then he said, well, have your concept ready of what you want to do. And I said, well, I'll do a jazz show. I'll do jazz and more. And then talk a little bit about what's going on in the community.
Did you bring your own music to that show, or they
Yeah,
provide music? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
you would have to get your own music, but Believe in Music at that time was across the street. And so they were real open about, well, come on in, pick something out.
Oh, so they would loan the music?
Yeah, excuse me, my eyes turned to water. So they would loan you music, and you bring it back, and you just say, you know, today's show was sponsored by such and such. And so that was a lot of fun. And I think I had a show on, it might have been Saturday afternoons or something like that. It was just for a few hours, but it was perfect for me. It was perfect for me. And then it's interesting, Pinda, because I was the only radio show that the Kent County Jail would let the inmates listen to.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful. They're like, okay, we know they're going to be calm during this time, and they enjoy it. And I would get so much fan mail from the jail, you know, just tons and tons and tons and tons. And, you know, it was like their connection or something. Send a shout out to so-and-so and, you know, dedicate this song to somebody else and everything like that. So, so I was a big hit, if nowhere else, at the jail.
Wow, that is interesting.
It was interesting. It was interesting.
So what prompted you to do television as opposed to your love for radio?
Right, well, that's an excellent question. So I'll go the radio trail a little bit more. So at the school, the Columbia School of Broadcasting, they said, well, we'll get you local mentors and everything like that. So one of the mentors that they got me was somebody I was looking up to and listening to on the radio all the time, Frank Grant. A lot of people know Frank Grant from WKWM. He was the station director out there, and I was like, this is too awesome. This is too awesome that I get to, you know, learn from, I felt like the best, you know. And so I'm learning and everything, and then eventually Frank says, you know, you're bigger than community radio. You need to be on commercial radio. I'm like, who, me? That's my goal. That's my goal. So he's like, yeah, come work for WKWM for money. What? I was doing this for free.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, sure. He was like, we have an opening on Sundays, you know, with just playing the gospel music. I'll take it, you know. So I took that, and then I did all the Sunday gospel in the morning, and then eventually I went to them and I said to Frank Grant, and the owner Richard Culpepper is like, well, I'd like to do the jazz show in the afternoons, and if I do all day Sunday, none of you have to work on Sunday. As long as I can get to church to one service, then I'll work all day Sunday. They were like, all right now.
So you would get the music from the music store?
Not at KWM.
Oh, okay.
No, because that was commercial radio,
Okay.
AM 1140.
So they had their own music?
Yeah, they had their own.
And you could just have the liberty to select what you want to play, jazzy-like music?
Okay. At first, you know, when you're just starting, then it's just like, you know, you're kind of given direction. But after you get used to it, it's like, go for it.
Were you able to bring your own music in at any point?
No, I never had to.
Because they had their
yeah,
stock library?
But I could pick different things. And so I could pick, you know, different gospel music, and people would call in and ask for certain things.
They would make requests.
And then when I was doing the jazz, I could pick certain jazz. And then there would be certain things that, you know, will definitely play this. And then, you know, an opening came up for what we call the daytime drive time, where, you know, you're playing everything. You're playing R&B, you're playing the blues, you're mixing oldies but goodies, and you have a playlist, but then you also have some choice in there. Like, okay, this will sound good behind this, and some dedications and different things like that. So now I'm doing almost, well, no, I think I did do every day of the week I was on the air, just loving it. And then I got to do Metro Beat, which was the news segment, news community affairs, go out in the community, interview people, find out what's happening, especially in the African American community, because this was the only African American station that was owned and operated and had that orientation in West Michigan.
So would you just get the story from people, or would you actually bring them to the show for the live interview?
I mostly would go out, like, and people would call and say, we're having this event. Or I'd see that, you know, somebody's having a certain event, and I would call them up and say, you know, can I interview you, and different things like that. And I'd go interview them, or sometimes they would come to the station, but mostly because the station was so far. It was in Ada, and so mostly I would go to people and interview them, and also that got me out in the community as well. You know, when you're in radio, you need to be seen because you're not seen, you know, but yeah, except when we would do what we would call live remotes, like there'd be a store, and let's say they're having a grand opening. So we would go into the store, give out prizes, broadcast from the store, and so many people would come. It would be a ton of people that would come to those things.
Wow. I've always been interested in radio. I thought I, at one time, had the jazzy voice.
I think
so
you do.
I wanted to do jazz as well, but not knowing anything about radio. I mean, now it's like I have time, I have the opportunity to learn, and perhaps one day I'll journey down to the other room and learn a little bit about radio.
Right, straight down
and more about television, of course.
Right.
One of my goals this year.
That's the wonderful thing about Community Media Center, is it gives everyday people a chance to experience television and production and put on shows, and no one's going to say, I don't like that show, that's not going to go on the air. You know, none of that. It's for the public. It's public access. Same thing with the radio station, WYCE, where you can learn. You can learn without having to go to school for, you know, 4 years, 8 years, and pay a whole lot of money or anything. It's public access. It's public access. So, I did not forget your question, how did I get to television? Okay. So, I don't remember the guy's name now. I used to remember everybody's name and everything, but I don't remember his name now. But he was like, Argie, you're doing a great job on radio. You ought to be on the board of, we were just GRTV then. We weren't Community Media Center. We were just GRTV, and the late, great Dirk Koning had started that, and oh man, he was all about television. So anyway, this guy says, you need to be on the board of GRTV. And I was like, why? He was like, we need more representation, and you could come up with a lot of good ideas and everything. And then from being on the board, I learned about GRTV. And I was like, oh, wow, I could take what I've been doing on radio and move it to television. You know, I'm willing to explore that.
Which means that the people that you used to interview, without bringing them to the radio station, you now bring them to the television set.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, sure, if I wanted to. Or just expand your horizons. And at that time, we were at 23 library, and we were in the old library. The library is still there, but now, of course, it's all renovated and everything. So, but at that time, GRTV was in the basement of the library, which was right across from the YMCA. And we were in a basement. We were in a real basement, too. It was a basement. You know, it wasn't like this set here.
This is a beautiful set.
Yes, it is a beautiful set.
Yes.
And we have more space here and everything like that. So, but we were in the basement, dark dungeon but we made it work, you know. So many good shows came out of there, and so many people helped, and it's all volunteer based. I'm a volunteer. I've been doing this for almost 30 years, but I don't get paid for this. And my people who come and help, they don't get paid for this, but it's an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to hear voices that don't get heard. And one of the things that I used to do is to always look for professionals of African American descent. Like, you know, if we're going to talk about plumbing, well, let's see if we can find an African American plumber to talk about that. If we're going to talk about architecture, let's get an African American person to talk about that. To let kids know, especially, that there are people out here, and to also let other people know, you know, if that's something that's important to you and you want to spend your money in the African community, here's a resource.
Right.
Here's a resource. I don't want you to say, well, I never heard of that, or that doesn't exist, or something like that. So, so I did that, and I had some specials with, you know, I mentioned police chiefs and mayors and everything, and I had some specials with them in the sense of we would have a town hall, and we say it's time to talk to the, let's say, mayor. And we bring together people, 20, 30 people, in the studio, which really packed the studio because it was so small, and to interview these people and say, this is what's important to us, and what can you do about it, you know, and stuff like that. So I always felt, Penda, that it's an honor to be in people's homes every week by TV. So I think I owe them not to have anybody on my show cussing and
of course
being lewd and degrading anybody. You know, never had that. Never had that. And I've been proud of my viewers. Anytime they've called in, we don't screen calls. You know that.
No screening.
We don't say, no, what are you going to talk about? And da, 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 da. We just say, you know, you got a question, you got a comment.
Right.
You know, but people have been so respectful and so insightful.
I can attest to that.
Yeah. And our show, the focus is education, information, and positive entertainment. And whatever entertainment you see, it's going to be positive. You know, it's going to be maybe some poetry, and maybe, you know, definitely gospel. We always have gospel, jazz, different things. Something interesting like quilt work. Remember the quilt show?
Yes.
Yes, of course, because you helped produce that.
Yeah. Well, I want to take a minute to say thank you for allowing me to be a part of the crew, and just thank you for allowing me to even come outside of myself, because as a result of being on the show and finding people to be a part of the show, it prompts me to be out in the community talking to people more about what they're doing and asking them, do they want to come on Time to Talk? And a lot of times, yes, they want to come on because they want to promote what they're doing. So thank you for allowing me that opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you for being a dedicated member. You know, it's not easy. I know that. It's not today. Let's take today. It's freezing rain, and you came out.
Yes.
You know, you came out.
I came out because I've been cooped up in the house for a while. When it was really, really cold out, I was in the house like a bubble. I wasn't trying to get out.
Right.
So it's a hair warmer than it has been, so it netted me to get out. So yeah, I'm like, you know, that wild animal who was cooped up, and I had to get out.
Well, I'm glad you could. I'm glad you could get out, because I was like, okay, I can talk to people about time to talk and excuse me, about myself. And,
yeah, 30-year history plus.
Plus,
that's a lot to talk about in a half an hour.
Yes, yes, a lot to talk about in a half an hour. And I grew up here in Grand Rapids, and people always said, you have to go far to get in radio or TV or anything like that. And I haven't found that to be so. You know, I've done what I wanted to do, where I wanted to do it. And of course now, with technology, you know, I can do a show around the world right here from Grand Rapids.
That's beautiful. I can't wait to learn that aspect of that show.
I know,
yeah.
I know. And
so I got to get in that control room.
And do more back there. We're going to put you back there as well. And other people on our show, like Doug Rolling Styles, who directs our show, and he's like, I wasn't meant to be a director, and da-da-da-da-da. I was like, well, get on back there and do what you got to do.
Doug is awesome. Doug, wherever you are, you're awesome, and you're missed here on Time to Talk tonight.
Yes, yes, you are. Not feeling well, but you are missed on Time to Talk. Listen, Penda, Doug rides his bike here. And I don't mean
in the
just
winter.
In the winter.
Yes.
In the freezing snow, freezing rain. He has his bike. He has a backpack.
That's dedication.
Yes, that's dedication. That's maybe 100 pounds or something.
Dedication, honor, and respect to you.
Yes, 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 it is. And I appreciate it. I know I mess with you a lot, Doug, but I appreciate it a lot. Because that it's dedication. He doesn't have to do that. He can do other things, but he's always here. He's always here. When I do things on location, he does things on location. We had Jim Thwaite, who was with us for some time.
Miss you, Jim, if you're watching.
We miss you, Jim. And Jim would drive from Baldwin.
Long ways.
Every show. He would drive from Baldwin to come to Time to Talk.
How long was Jim here working with you before I came to the show?
I want to say almost 2 years, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he drove a long way.
Right, he did. Then we had a new person, we still do, Rochelle Robinson, and she's just been so dedicated with just helping things to go so well.
Yes.
And I really needed that. You know, I really needed somebody.
And she's good.
Yes, she's good.
Yes.
You know, like you had my back, like, oh, I got a whole list.
I really didn't have her back today. I really didn't want to be on the show today, but she, you know, has a way of twisting people's arms too. Yeah. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, I'll tell you, I get that from my late mother. She just had a way of just talking to you and just you wanting to say no, but you like, where is that word? No.
I know, she's just going to make me a TV personality.
She's like, I don't want to be on TV. Don't have me on TV, you know. And I meant to stick with this. I was like, I'm not going to have you on TV.
Sure.
But look how nice you're dressed. So, you know.
To hold a camera today. This is how I was dressed to hold a camera.
See, but that's perfect. That says so much about life. You got to be ready, you know, because you never know what's going on.
Well, I mean, I've been wearing this all day long. I mean, what was the point of me changing just to come here to hold a camera?
Right. But So you've been looking nice all day long. You've been looking nice all day long. So,
well, thank you for the compliment. You look nice too, and I noticed that we have pants that's alike.
Isn't that cool?
Yes.
That is just really cool. That just really worked out. That really worked out. And I haven't done it lately, but we've also had studio audiences. So I want to get back to that. You think that would be a good idea?
That would be perfect. That would be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else do you think?
Well, you know, you had ideas centered around mentoring young people. I would like to see that happen again with the young ladies.
Yeah, that's right.
Mentoring. I believe they really enjoyed that, and I enjoy watching them, and you know, I learned a little something too.
Yeah.
From just hanging out with them. So I would like to see that happen again.
That was a lot of fun, where we took young girls, ages. It was open to girls 9 to 17, but the two we wound up with were like 10, 11, smarter than smart.
Oh, they ran the show. They ran the show that night.
They literally ran the show. The whole point was for them to learn studio skills and then to do a studio special here on Time to Talk, interviewing their moms. And they did it.
Yeah,
that
was beautiful. I would like to see something like that happen again.
Yes, yes. And Pinda was one of our mentors, and Patricia came, and Doug was there, and their moms, Lavita and Miss
Tania.
Yes.
Slater.
Yes. Oh, and the girls were just, and they just caught on so fast.
They did. They were awesome. Yes.
We have to pull back to young people and then help move them forward, because they are the future leaders, and we have to prepare them now in so many ways. You know.
I believe those two particular young princesses would love to come back.
Yes, that would be great. That would be great. And another thing that I've done is I run a nonprofit that's called Community of Volunteers, and my mother ran that 30 years ago, and I'm continuing in her legacy. And we provide food and clothing and renovate houses, and we have a program called Ron's Distribution Center in honor of my late sister, Ronnie Debbie Holliman, where we give out clothes. We don't charge anything, but it's beautiful clothes, and people who want to donate can do so.
And you have that party once a year.
Yeah,
to
the
honor
neighborhood unity
your mom
party.
And your sister.
Yeah.
And that's where you give out the clothes, and or do you do that prior to?
All that.
Okay.
Yeah, we do that prior to, and we give out flowers. All kind of
That's right. Yes.
All kind of beautiful flowers at that time. So there's a lot of things that we do. I believe in making a difference. I know you do too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And you share a lot through your gardening. You know.
Yes.
And people can learn about life through gardening.
Yeah, people can travel through gardening. People can get exercise through gardening. People can eat healthy through their own gardening. Yeah, there's many aspects centered around gardening.
Sometimes you'll have to bring us a picture of your garden. It's massive.
Yeah, I have to kind of look in my photo books to see what I have. And actually, I think I do have some there. Well, I know I have some there. I have garden journal.
And you're a world traveler too, and at some point you'll share your trip.
I'm not a world traveler. People have said that about me, but I'm really not a world traveler. I've just been a few places, but not around the world quite yet.
Well, you'll share your travels of South Africa with us at some point, right?
At some point, yes.
Right. So what do you enjoy about being on Time to Talk as we get ready to close?
Well, I just enjoy the opportunity and the experience of being on the set and learning different aspects centered around what transpires here on this set. And it's just been a real rewarding, challenging experience with,
Great.
you know, growth. I expect to grow a little bit more here. That's my goal, to grow some more.
And I also want to thank the staff of GRTV for helping us, and especially helping us tonight with setting
Yes,
up.
thank you, Chris.
Thank you,
really
Chris.
appreciate you, you know, being in cahoots with Argie to get me on the show tonight.
Chris was
You're
like, yeah,
awesome,
that would be
Chris.
Great. So
Such a
thank you,
motivator.
Chris. Yes. So we thank Chris and Beth and Jennifer at the front desk.
Yes.
And also Ted. We don't always see Ted, but Ted as well. And Zarina. Oh my goodness, she comes up with so many new sets for me.
These are beautiful sets.
That are just awesome, that took us to the next level. And also our Andres, we have 2 Andres, and so we want to thank them as well. Andre Jones and Andre Zirig.
Andre Ziegler.
Ziegler.
Yes.
And, oh, what am I missing? All the people who work on Time to Talk and believe in Time to Talk, you know. So we thank them for that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
For sitting with me and supporting me through this show tonight. Really appreciate it. I know. Your arms don't hurt from me twisting them, do they?
Just a little bit.
Okay.
She also has a knife in my back.
Well,
Not going to show
we'll
you
get
all.
it out now. So now that we've done a little mini Time to Talk today. But be sure to join us 2 weeks from now on a Wednesday, 7 p.m. GRTV Live. We're going to have Billy Pearson and his gospel group right here on Time to Talk. They are good.
Okay.
They are good. And they're already booked and they're already set to go. So you have a great evening, and thank you very much. I'm Argie Holliman, and you've been watching Time to Talk.